All right, we're on hole number 5 of the Monster Marsh tournament in Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Let's go to Golf Clash Notebook and check out hole number 5, which is hole number 6 of the Sunshine Glades. All right, my goal is to try and get up into this area right here so I have a short iron going in. And I played a practice round earlier, or I played a qualifying round for my low-level account, and I can't remember which way the wind was blowing. So we'll find out right here. In rookie, it can play a big difference. So if your goal is to get out, so you have a couple ways you can go at this. These are your 3 landing areas. You know, somewhere in this range over here, this spot, this spot. So if the wind in the tournament is blowing this way, that means that if you're here or here, you're going to be coming towards the green with almost a pure tailwind. So it's usually better to hit with the wind behind you coming into a shot. The wind adjustment is not as hard. Whereas if you hit out here and the wind was blowing this way, now you're coming into the pin with a pure side wind. And that adjustment's harder. If the wind's blowing this way, then if you're hitting out here or here, then you're coming into the pin and now you're hitting against side wind. And if you're hitting out here, you've got a tailwind. So if you're in the upper divisions, pro, expert, masters, that is huge. Because if you're hitting out here with a 20-mile-an-hour wind and you've got a tailwind, that adjustment's a whole lot easier than if you're hitting out here and you have a side wind and you're having to adjust out 20 miles an hour on a side wind. Your chances of getting it in the cup are going to be limited. So if you're out here and you've got this wind right here, now you're adjusting out the 20 miles an hour with a tailwind versus if the wind was going this way, now you're doing a side wind. So it makes a big difference. So while you may be better with your short iron and you may have a higher percentage with your short iron, you may have a much better percentage with a long iron with a tailwind. So it makes a big difference when you're in the upper divisions. But in rookie, it's not quite as big a deal. You know, like if you get out here and you've got a pure side wind and you've got a 3.5-mile-an-hour wind, that's not nearly as hard to adjust out and still be able to have a serious albie shot than if you were dealing with a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So wind is a big factor on which way the ball is going in, but in rookie, it's not as big a factor. But my goal is to get out here and give myself a short iron shot to get in versus a long iron shot out here. The other way to do it is if you got really low developed stuff, don't worry about either one of these areas. Just lay it up right here. And you can lay it up with a QB, and you can go at it with a Viper. Okay? Easy shot. Get up here, get your eagle, give yourself a look at albie. If you don't make the albie, take your eagle, go to the next hole. But I'm trying to get up into this area. So in order to do that, I'm going to take an extra mile. I need the biggest hitting club that I have in my bag. You can take an Apocalypse here, but you're losing a little bit of distance on the Apocalypse versus the extra mile, and we don't really need the curl. So if you've got an Apoc 4, and when you get to your Apocalypse to level 4, if you're staying in the lower level stuff and you're not really trying to go for max trophies, once you get your Apocalypse to level 4, that's more than enough. So you just need 20 cards for it that you can get within about 16 years. It's unless you're playing upper developed stuff, your Apocalypse is going to go up very slowly. But once you get it to level 4, it's got all the stuff you're looking for. It's got really good distance, got much better accuracy than an extra mile. Not quite as much topspin, but pretty close. Not as much backspin, but backspin doesn't normally come into play as much with a driver unless you're playing in the upper tours where some of those holes you're coming in and you have to do backspin on a par 3. But the curl is huge. Huge. I'm going to take an extra mile, and I want to take my most accurate stuff beyond that. So I should be coming in with an extra mile and trying to get in a hornet range, but if I short shoot it a little bit, I've got my backbone. I'm going to take a Titan. Maybe in the weekend round you could bring a Kingmaker here, or you could bring a ball that's got a little bit more wind resistance, because that shot coming into the green, this is a serious shot at albie here. I want to bring my usual suspects on the bottom, so if I do get in trouble, I'm giving myself the best chance to recover. So I want to bring my Nirvana and my Spitfire. If you've got an Amazon and you don't have a Nirvana, Amazon works good. Amazon worked really good, even though it doesn't have a lot of ball guide. It's a backspin club, and you don't really need ball guide when you're doing backspin. All right, I got that hole firmly entrenched in my brain. Off we go. The shot to the left is a max overpower shot, and you're trying to dig yourself out there as far as you possibly can. And if you epic fail, you're typically going to epic fail on the left-hand side, and you can't get on. You can't recover from that. So while the shot going forward, you know, it seems like you're in a wide area out there, it's a dangerous shot to get out there. So there's 2-7. How much am I going to have to get up here? So I'm going to max overpower shot here as well. But I've got a much bigger fairway, and if I epic fail out there, I can still recover. I have to leave the wind in order to get out, and that might be too much. Hitting great to the left. That might be too much topspin. We'll find out. I think it's perfect. Perfect. It's exactly where I want to be. So if you epic fail out here, let's say I rolled forward and I ended up in the rough out there, you can get on. If I end up in the sand over there, I can get on. You can get on from that sand. You can get on from the rough over here. So anywhere the epic fail over here, you can still recover. But if you epic fail over here, you may not be able to recover. So my opponent's going for the S shot. This is awesome because that way we're getting demoed for both shots. And what I would do is I would go more towards that little rough area right there, and I would make sure I put on some right hand curl. I don't know why they're putting left hand curl on it. You can see they're leaning towards the left. They don't need left curl, they need right curl. And that left hand curl might have helped them with that 2-ring great to the right. All right, this is a prime example of the 2 ways to come into this hole. So the way that we have wind here is I've got a little bit of the wind's actually pretty good for me. So there's max club. There's min club, so there's mid. So I'm kind of eking between the two. So when I'm eking between the two, I usually do 1.5 per ring. I want to get right up on it. So it's 1.5 per ring, so that's about a 3-ring pull. And I just need to hit it perfect. Anticipation. I'm getting a little bit of lag because my battery was low and I'm uploading videos at the same time. But that's the shot right there, and I like the way the wind's going. So actually that short iron shot, we're both getting the way that the wind is blowing here, it's blowing diagonally, so we're both getting a little bit of benefit. So either one of those shots is, in this particular case, is going to be a viable shot. So they've got a little bit of tailwind with a little bit of left hand movement, and I've got a little bit of tailwind with a right hand movement. And so we're both kind of in the same spot as far as where the wind's going. Neither one of us are picking up a pure side wind for our shot coming in. But that is a serious Albie look there with a short iron. So, and to me it's a lower risk shot than the shot to the right, because if you epic fail to the left, or excuse me, on the shot to the left, if you're on the left and you epic fail to the left, you are in big trouble. I'm going to forfeit. Still got a lot of holes where I'm going for it, and if I make it, I want to have as much leeway as possible. A lot of people practice on Mondays, and you don't want to end up coming in with a 6 or a 7, and you can see we still have a lot of people that haven't played, but you don't want to end up qualifying with a 6 or a 7. And I've had teammates that have had that happen where they were just out practicing on a Monday and they shot a 6 and they ended up qualifying. So understand there's a lot of people that practice on Mondays. You can see the people up here at the top kind of what kind of scores they have. So the minimum score you're looking for here really is -12, but hole number 4, you have to get a birdie on that hole. Or excuse me, you have to get an eagle. You have to get an eagle on that hole. So really -13 is the minimum score you're looking for. So we should be looking at minus 13, minus 26, minus 26. That's going to net us probably a top 10, just coming in with the minimum scores. So if you can pick a shot up here and there on some of these other shots, on these other holes, that's going to move you. That's going to be what tries to get you into the top 5, top 3. But looking at the minus 13, that's the minimum score you should be looking at. All right, that was hole number 5 of the Monster Marsh tournament and Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.